There are two modes in 9G Backup that you can use for selecting the files and folders you would like to back up. Simple mode, which allows you to select from a list of common Windows libraries, and Advanced mode, which allows you to select from a list of any local drives, folders, and files. The simple mode allows you to easily select the files and folders you wish to back up and is the default mode for the backup page in 9G Backup. You can access the simple mode from the backup page in 9G Backup. From here, you simply click on the Windows libraries that you wish to back up. The Windows libraries that are checked will be backed up, and the ones that are not checked will not be backed up. Pretty simple. If you would like more comprehensive file and folder selection options, you can use the Advanced mode. To enter Advanced mode, you simply click on the Advanced mode button from the backup page in 9G Backup. Once you are in Advanced mode, you can check the Always Show Advanced Mode checkbox, so the Advanced mode will become the new default for the backup page in 9G Backup. There are two main tabs you can use while in the Advanced mode. The File System tab includes a tree view of your entire file system with all its local drives, folders, and files. You can open the tree to see the hierarchy of the drives, folders, and files respectively. You can click the information icon next to each item to see the properties for that item. You can choose whether or not to back up any item by simply checking or unchecking the box for that item. As you check and uncheck an item, additional icons may appear or disappear related to that item. A yellow key indicates that an item has been included in the backup set, while a red key indicates that it has been excluded from your backup. The keys will only appear on items that have been directly selected to include or exclude. A full green circle indicates that 9G Backup knows that an item and everything within that item is marked for backup. A red half circle indicates that either 9G Backup does not know if an item and everything within that item is marked for backup, or it could also indicate that it knows there are items within that item that are excluded from backup. The gear icon lets you set other options related to that item, such as the number of revisions to backup and whether or not you wish to back up files that are in use. Backing up files that are in use allows your files to be backed up even while they are being used, such as Microsoft SQL Server database files. As with the simple mode, the checked items are backed up while the unchecked items are not backed up. A square in an items box indicates there are other items within that item that are part of the backup set. The Backup Set tab displays a list of all the items you have directly selected or unselected. It is important to note that this is not necessarily a list of all the files that you are backing up. In fact, there may be many items within an item in this list that were automatically marked for backup because their parent item, the item in this list, was directly selected. If you would like to see a list of all the files you are backing up, you can click the Show All Files Being Backed Up button. You can view this list in both Simple and Advanced mode. The backup set will contain some of the same icons that we already discussed from the File System tab, plus a few additional icons for each item. A new warning icon may appear for an item that is part of your backup set, but no longer resides in the same location in your file system. You can remove any item from your backup set by clicking on its X icon. You can highlight any item and set other options related to that item, such as the number of revisions to backup and whether or not you wish to use backup files that are in use. You can also indicate whether or not you wish to include subfolders and files for an item. When you include subfolders and files for a checked item, all subfolders and files within that item will also be marked for backup unless they are directly excluded from the backup. The settings on these tabs are item dependent. That is, you are setting them for the item you are on. These tabs are directly related, and so any changes that you make to the settings for an item on one tab will affect the settings for the same item on the other tab. Finally, whether you're using the simple mode or the advanced mode for selecting your files and folders for backup, there are a few additional settings on the Options Schedule page that you can change that will affect your entire backup set. These include options such as whether or not to include hidden files, whether or not to include subfolders and files by default, whether or not to back up files that are in use, and the default number of file revisions to keep. The files and folders that you select for backup and their settings are automatically saved and are used each time you perform a backup. As you can see, 9G Backup offers a comprehensive file selection process with a wide variety of options and settings for your backups. Although this is very complex, it is presented in an intuitive and easy-to-use manner to simplify selecting your files and folders. Please watch our 9G Backup Alerts and Logs video for information on how to monitor your backups and other activity within 9G Backup.